That's right, it's time to go sailing. Last time we left the boat for a bit in Marsh Harbor, and when we flew back, we took you snorkeling on Angel's Reef on Marsh Harbor on the Atlantic side, and on a fantastic sail over to one of our favorite places in the Abacos, Hopetown. We were incredibly lucky to get on a ball in the harbor at Hopetown, and we spent a few beautiful days exploring that island, particularly the lighthouse, which has amazing views of both the harbor and the Atlantic, and just a really cool cruising community. Now it's time to take you on another awesome sail, you will see the Spinnaker, over to the stunning island of Little Harbor. We had some friends who were there on their Katana catamaran, and we got to have some fun drinks with them at Pete's Pub and meet Pete himself. There might have been a few rum drinks and some good Bahamian fun involved.
Stay there!
Here we're rolling up the Genoa to fly the Spinnaker. We just started playing around with the Spinnaker last summer and we love flying it in light winds. I made this video here that I put up on Facebook last year showing how we run the lines, set up the AT and tacker, and how we hoist and douse our Spinnaker on the boat. If you'd like to go check that out, there's a link in the video description or the blog post below. But for now, it's time to get this kite flying. But of course, it's not always sunshine and sailing. Sometimes we have to do the dishes. It's just awful.
You know what song I got on my head this morning?
What's that?
You rock the side pony. Who doesn't love a side pony?
Who doesn't love a
Baby, I'm the sick of my life. I'm Annie. This is my
Show him your shy pony.
If there's one thing those winter north winds are good for in the Bahamas, it is throwing up the spinnaker and headed south. We had a fantastic sail from Hopetown down to Little Harbor. Finally, it was time to douse this spinnaker, drop it down in the sock, pack it up, and make our way into Little Harbor. When we looked at the charts, we found that the inlet to Little Harbor was pretty narrow and not enough depth for us at low tide. So we decided to just drop the hook in the big harbor on the outside and just dinghy in to meet our friends at Pete's Pub in Little Harbor. And while our decision to anchor on the outside was mainly just a matter of function to avoid the narrow inlet, we were so surprised to find that that harbor on the outside of Little Harbor provided the most crystal clear emerald green waters we'd seen. There's really no need to dive the anchor when you can actually literally see it all the way from bow to anchor. And I'm telling you, this footage doesn't even do it justice. You just have to see the waters in the Bahamas for yourself. It's life-changing, I swear. Little Harbor is such a beautiful little hurricane hole at the south end of the Abacos in the Bahamas, and it was really fun to get to meet up with our friends back home from Pensacola who had sailed there on their catamaran. And of course, Tom and Christy always know how to find a good pub.
There's some good advice. You gotta shift it.
What's the shoot? Woo! Woo! Keep it like that.
Really? I might want to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy them now.
Right here.
He's got it.
Come on!
Pete's Pub there at Little Harbor was one of our absolute favorite stops in the Abacos and easily the best restaurant we ate at there. island Little Harbor itself is really small, but it has fantastic shorelines and just beautiful views of the Atlantic, and this little crumbling church and old lighthouse up top on the hill to explore. It also has a really, really cool history. The so-called founder of the island, I guess you would call him Randolph Johnston, was an American teacher and a bronze sculptor, and he brought his family to this island in the 1950s to get away from consumerism and life in the States, so we can all relate to that. But they had to live in this cave across the way for a long time before they could build a house and settle in, and it was just really hard on them. I think typhoid fever, the plague. But they survived and persevered, and the bronze sculpture foundry that Randolph Johnston built in the 50s is still the one they use today. We got to see a couple of the sculptures in the gallery there, and they are just stunning. So really cool history in this little tucked away spot in the Abacos. Pretty cool, huh? Stay tuned. Next time we will take you on another fantastic sail when we leave Little Harbor, head back out into the Atlantic, and cross over to Spanish Wells in Eleuthera, where we found one of our most favorite beaches in all of the Bahamas. Spanish Wells North Shore was just breathtaking. We can't wait to share it with you. Till next time.
Getting all the shots, GoPro. Oh. Crusty up lens. Here, get in there.